Hi everyone, Emma here. Oh my goodness, today is day 30. I'm gonna cry. Last day of the 30-day challenge, so let's take a look at what we have today. So we have, first of all, it's a giveaway. So a little baby squirrel with a rainbow bead. That means it's a giveaway. So make sure when you comment, just let me know where you're from, and you'll be entered in for the draw for a giveaway. And I'll just quickly show you, if you haven't seen the other videos, there's a lovely envelope, one of these Mylar envelopes, and you can maybe see a tiny bit in there of goodies. So I will ship that off to you, whoever the winner is. I usually post these videos around 10:30 at night. So around that time, the following night is when I'll do the draw or let people know. So we'll just put this guy over here so you remember in case you didn't see the very beginning of the video. This is what we are doing today. So these hearts, I've seen them all over YouTube and Pinterest, and I think they would be lovely to make. So let's just bring this in a bit. And yeah, so let's make it, get to it. I'm using these I sometimes I say these are from BB Craft and sometimes I say they're from AliExpress. I think what happened is you can get them from both places, but I'll tell you, it's a lot cheaper to get it from BB Craft. There's free shipping. Sometimes with some of these fancy findings on AliExpress, they'll have a shipping fee associated with it. If you buy like $10, sometimes most of the sellers will offer free shipping. So definitely, like, say you buy 2 sets of these and it comes to $10 or maybe 3 sets. And when I say sets, they usually come six pairs. 3 or 6 pairs. It varies from seller to seller. And then I have a 5mm peach Swarovski bicone with AB on it. I pulled out my Swarovski pearls. I wanted to put a pearl there and then hang it like that, but I had no way to attach the pearl to the bead as well as the earring. Surprisingly, I'm thinking there's got to be a way to attach it. There wasn't. I had these little attachments that you can get to glue into your pearls to make them a little like a charm, and but I would still need somewhere to put the thread to attach it to the heart. It's weird. I was really surprised that came up as a problem. Anyway, let's get started. So I am using 11O Toho beads. I did do a bunch of samples of different beads, and I showed that in my update, all the different hearts, or in the live actually. And I found I kind of liked the Toho bead shape the best, but you know what, the Miyuki beads are fine as well. Let me just quickly show you one. So here's a metallic pink, and that's using a Miyuki bead. So as for size, it's pretty much the same size. It's just these Tohos are slightly longer in a tubular way than these. These look a little more rounded. So it's whatever you have to use. These beads are gorgeous. They're called, they have them listed as Toho 11 rounds. Crystal Neon Rosaline. They're unbelievable. Oh, okay, so this was a 50-gram bag. I was trying to figure out where I bought these. This may have been from Beaded. If you're not familiar with Beaded, just let me know and I'll put a link for it. I do have some unboxing videos from Beaded. They, if you're in the States, and I mean, I'm in Canada and I got a shipment from them. It was really good. Their prices, as far as I know, are the best. So, okay, so I'm using pink Nymo thread. And I don't know, this may have been, I can't remember where I got this from, but I think it might be Eslon, like the really micro Eslon, I think they call it. So don't quote me on that, but it's basically the same as Nymo. It's just regular thread. I feel like there should be more light here. Me, do you know what I think? I'm gonna lower the camera a bit because I had it up for my live and now I can't see. I can't see what I'm doing. Let's see there. So, you know what? Normally I wax my thread, but I found for this application you really don't need to. It does kind of untwist the curliness of it. So I'm just using a size 10 needle for this. Okay, I need to wet this a bit. So you can see that this stuff frays. You can use other, like I have the metallic ones I used, dragon thread or fireline. So whatever you have on hand, use it. I'm just gonna try and stretch that out. So this is so easy. Now I say that, but I made a whole bunch of them before, and I went to different videos, so there are a couple of steps. So we are going to start out in this section here, and we are going to, it's actually going to sit this way when we're making it. It's going to sit this way, but then when we get a couple of rows in, we're going to squeeze it together to create this section here. And this is like, if you look closely, it's herringbone up. But anyway, that's a little more detail than you probably need. But when we do get to this section here, it gets a bit confusing. It ends up being peyote up here, but I will make sure I make it clear in here. And the reason I say that is there are a bunch of videos out there on how to make these, and I'm surprised, even for myself, I like stop and pause and look and how they're, are they adding a stitch? Are they just going through this bead and stuff like that? I had a really hard time figuring it out until I finally figured it out, and I'm going to show you that. So you're putting 3 on to begin with, and you're going to take that down to the bottom. And you're going to leave just enough at the bottom to hang on to, because it is kind of hard to hang on to just a couple of beads to bead with, so you need something to hang on to, and then you can weave this back in as well. So take your first 3, you're going to go back up through them like this, like that, and then you're going to go up through the next one and it'll close that loop. So you see the thread there. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see here. There's thread there. Go back up through the bottom of that first one here, like that. Now this part here is important in the sense that you want your bottom bead to sit at the bottom so that it's even, and then you have your 2 side beads like we're showing there. It's not super important, but if you're like me and you're really picky about stuff being exactly in the right spot, then it is important to pay attention. You have your tail thread coming out the one side of that single bead, and then you have your sewing thread coming through the other side of that bead. So that becomes your middle bead at the very base. So let me just, so now we're going to go through and we're going to add, so we need 2 on each side, so we're going to add 2 on this side. So pick up 2, and so I kind of weave my thread through my fingers so I have something to hold on to. So now you're coming out of this side, we're going to go to the other side. Let me see, we'll do it this way. So come down through this one here and just pull that through. So now you have this little H pattern. You have your middle bead and your 2 side beads. So now your thread's right here, your sewing thread. You're going to bring it up through this one side and just pull it snug there. Okay. So now what you want to do is we're going to do the herringbone on this side. So pick up 2 beads and go up through this one here. For this first step, we're not going to add any beads in between those 2 sections. So you can go ahead and put your needle right through to the next side. And I apologize, it is really kind of like they're flipping, and so it is a bit frustrating, but it'll make more sense as we get more. So now we're on the other side. It's as if this is like a little I, so like the letter I. So now we're going to put herringbone on this side. So we need 2 beads on that side. And we're going to do the same for this first row. We're going to skip adding a bead in between and go directly over to the other side of the heart, like that. This is the only time you do this step. Okay, so now we're going to pull everything tight, and so both sides should be tight so it creates a V shape, but you can see this one's a little longer. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this tight, those 2 we just added on, and then pull it. So now it gives you a bit of a V shape, and that's the base of your heart. I think I'm going to enlarge this a bit more for you, and I'm going to flip my camera down a tick so that I don't go out of the frame here. Just getting that nice and snug. Now, again, we're back on the end pieces. So we're going to do 2. Every time we go to the end, we're adding 2, which is the herringbone stitch. So we're going to go through just the 1 bead. And I might have dropped one of those beads. Yeah. So make sure you have 2 on there. And make sure you only have 2. It's so simple to pick up 3 in this design. And I get to the other side and I'm like, why does this look weird? Oh, wait. Okay, so just go through the first bead like that with your 2 on there. And you can kind of pop them down. So now you have 2. That's what it looks like. So now we're going to start adding beads in between the 2 sides which have herringbone. So, and that's going to set us up for peyote on the sides. So pick up 1 bead. So you're coming out of this bead here. You're going to go through this one here and set yourself up for the next herringbone stitch. Like that. Pick up 2 for your herringbone. 2. You're going to go through just the 1 bead here. And let me turn it a bit so you can see. And get that sitting. And now we're going to add our one bead in here, in this section here, which will end up being our peyote stitch. So take a look. This one here might be confusing. You might think, I'm not sure which bead to go through. Your thread's coming out of here, so think of it this way. There's only one bead down here below your thread, which means your bead that you're adding should be level with that. So just look, there's one bead here. So let me go through this. And the reason I point that out and not say, you know, check that there's two on each side, because sometimes like when we get to the other side, it won't be two, it'll just be one. So you have to just look at making it level that way. And I know it's a lot of information. I apologize. Sometimes I watch my videos back and I'm like, oh, I should just do it and show them, right? But I know that it helps if you understand why you're doing it. So you can see it's starting to shape up the little heart. So now herringbone on both sides. So let's pick up 2 for this side and let's just turn it so you can see. I'm going to go through this bead here. It does help if you know herringbone and peyote, but it's not totally essential. I think you could do it without it. I mean, especially with this instruction, so you don't have to figure out where it goes. Okay, so now, like I said, the thread is coming out of this bead. We're going to add one bead, but this time we're going to go into the bead that we added the last time. So this one here that's in the middle. So each time we add 2 to the sides, we're going to be adding beads to the sides, and that'll give us the peyote stitches on that side. And the first couple of rows look confusing. Once you have beads sticking up and coming down, it'll be pretty clear where to put them. So pick up another bead. You're coming out of that one that we added at the first time. Now we're going to go up through this bead here, like that. And it doesn't look like much yet, so let's just move on. So now we're on the side. We're going to put 2 beads for our herringbone. And you can kind of see there's your middle bead on this side. So let's go through that one bead with your 2. Like that. And just get them sitting nicely and turn it. Pick up another bead. Go through that single bead. Like that. Pick up another bead. And we're going to go up through these 2 here. And if you're not sure where you want to go up on this side, just look at the other side. There's 2 beads there. So you want these guys to be level with the other. So now we're going to add the 2 for the herringbone. Go through here. Pick up 1. So we're coming out of this bead here. We're going to go through this bead. So now it's starting to set up like peyote. So you have like an empty space here, an empty space here, an empty space on this side. So we're going to add a bead, go through this one. And it gets a little easier to hold as well. And now you can actually like squeeze it like a sandwich or a taco. So now we need to add one bead in between these 2, this one and this one. So there's the one bead. And just watch your thread We'll flip around, especially my thread's really curly. There. We need to add one more to this. So we're gonna go up through this bead here. Like that. See if I can squish that. So it makes it easier to hold on to and see the sticking out beads. So now add 2 for the herringbone. Come out through that bead like that. And I'm gonna flip it so you can see. So now we need to fill in the spaces. Pick up a bead, go through this bead like that. We're gonna fill this space here. Once you get the hang of these, they're so much fun. I think it's just, I'm still kind of amazed at beading that you can take thread and tiny little beads like this and create something. It just blows my mind. So now we need to go through. So we're gonna add this bead to this hole here. So we're gonna go through these beads here, like that, like that. And then you can squeeze. I'm gonna flip this a little more. It's getting close to the bottom of the screen here. Pick up 2 beads. So you're coming out of the end here. Pick up 2 beads and go through this one here. And then we're gonna put beads in the spaces. So I won't flip it this time. You can see it from this angle. It might be easier to see. I feel like that angle is a little better. So I'll go through here. And fill in the blanks like this. Another one. And then one more. And go through this bead like that. And we're going to add the herringbone, which is 2 beads together like that. Come down this one. There. So now we're on this side. So sometimes these beads look like they're not sitting in the right spot, but it's because they're clear on the outside, so you can't actually see sometimes the roundedness of the bead. So pick up 1 bead, and we're going to put our little beads inside the little slots, the peyote slots, or as Jill Wiseman calls them, the sticky outies. And you know what's funny? I used to think it was just Jill that said that, and then I was watching some videos. Other people were saying it too. So you're going to keep doing this until you have 6 sticking out beads across on both sides. And it's important to say that it's on both sides, because like you see I just did now here. Let me see, I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is my second side actually. So if I stopped on this side, I'd be missing a bead on this side, and it's important when we get to the next step to have the correct amount of beads. So now we're going to do our herringbone. Grab that. So pick it up. Like that. And fill in the blanks. Like that. I love using this pink thread. Can you tell I'm a pink girl? I still find it just hilarious. When I was a kid, I was So not into pink. You know, Jen would tease me now. She calls me a hall monitor because I like to follow rules. And but I tell her, I'm like, I did nursing for a career. My job involves following orders, doctor's orders. They write them down, we transcribe them, and then we follow them. So if it says check the patient's blood pressure every 4 hours, give them medication if it's between this parameter and that parameter. So that's like what I did for a career, right? It's my happy place. I need to follow orders and instructions. But when I was a kid, I the teacher would ask everybody, "What's your favorite color?" I was such a teacher's pet. I would say green, like the grass and the trees and the flowers and the leaves and stuff like that, because nature and all this like schmaltzy stuff, right? Oh, I got two there. But because I knew there'd be like out of a class of 30 kids, there'd be 10 of the girls saying pink's their color, and the other was purple, and I'm like, nope, mine's green. And then when I was a teenager, I was so not into colors. I was like, um, not emo, but I wore blue jeans and baseball t-shirts. That was it. That's what I. So okay, so let's count. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the sticking out. So now we're gonna go this side and then one more time around, and then we go to the next step. So now we need our 2 for the end here. But yeah, so the whole point of that story is my color's pink. Like, I know if you survey says if you asked this many of baby squirrel beatings subscribers, they would say that her favorite color is pink. I don't know why. I just I was saying this the other day while I was doing a video. I'm so amazed that colors can make me so happy. I'm getting ready, like I mentioned this in the live, I'm getting ready to do I feel like my wife is in my office helping me do some banking, so she moved my lights. The nerve. She's helping me do my banking. And she touched my stuff on my desk. But I was saying that I'm getting ready to renovate my office. But part of that is I'm also renovating the bedroom. And I don't know, I think I saw some television show or something, and they had like a beautiful quilt and lovely sheets and stuff like that. I'm like, we spend so much time in bed sleeping. I think I'm going to go out and buy some really nice sheets and quilts and stuff like that so that, you know, to feel better. So what do we have on this side? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is the end of this side. Let me go back because I was out of frame here. See if you can see it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now we added our 2 on the end, and now we're gonna, this right now is only 5, so there's 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll be 6 when we're done. So the thread's coming out of here, so we're gonna fill the gaps like this. This next step coming up is probably my favorite step. I mean, it's all my favorite. They're just so much fun to do. I am going to make a bracelet with some of these hearts, so stay tuned for that. I still haven't decided what I'm going to do next for a challenge. It's between herringbone and bezeling, but I think it might be both. But I haven't figured out, I want it to be something interesting again, so I haven't decided. We might do um, 5 days of one and 5 days of another and do it that way to break it up so it's not like if you're not into bezeling, it won't be boring for you for 30 days. Okay, so we are done this section. This is what it looks like. Both sides. Show you. Same. Okay, so it looks like what we're going to do is we're going to take our fingers here and we're going to pop these over. Now, what I do, you could squeeze these tight, but I just squeeze the top part together because it's nice that it's rounded already to add the little sides to the heart. So just, and again, you need your thread to hang on to get it in the right position. So your thread is coming out of this side here. We are going to go down through this top bead here that's exactly across from it, like this. Okay, like that. Okay, sorry. So now I'm just going to turn this in the direction that the thread's going. So I'm going to hang on to it this way. This is still loose. When we get around to the other side, I'm going to pull it tight so that it's nice and snug. But for the meantime, you can hold it with your fingers like that. So now, if you look at this, you have your sticking out beads. So these will be, we will fill in the blanks. This is your peyote stitch. It's going to be circular. So when we get back to this area here, it's a little bit different. Don't worry, I'll show you exactly what I'm doing, and then I'll show you again when we go to the other side. So pick up your first bead. You're coming out of this bead here. You're going to go into this next sticking out bead. And continue. Coming out of here, you've got your bead. You're going to go through the next sticking out bead. I'm squeezing it right now just because it's hard to hang on to, but if you're doing it, try not to. I mean, it's not going to, we're going to fix that anyway, but because we're going to put something inside to hold it open. So there's a lot of jibber jabber, I know. But you know what? You are on my channel. And if you haven't figured out yet that I do a lot of talking, so I'm just going around filling in, putting a bead in the low spots. So if you look at it this way here, so go to this next one. So remember to count how many times you go around. We're going to go around 4 times and then we're going to decrease for 2. So that part's really important, and that's another part in those videos. I had such a hard time. Some said 6, and I do have samples of 6. They look hilarious. But okay, so we're getting into like a weird section here. So we want to, there's one of the sticking out beads. It's really hard to see. Okay, there. So there's one of the sticking out beads, and we added our bead to the slot, so it becomes the sticking out bead now. But right here, we're going to add a bead in this slot here. So we're going to go through this, which is like, if you look at this, this is the next herringbone stitch. Okay, so I'll try and keep it in that position, because this is the part that I had really hard time seeing in the videos. So I've got my bead on, and I'm going to go through here. So that's going to be my next part of the peyote. Let me see, bring that over here. Okay, so now this is where we brought our strand together. We attached the two sides. We're going to pick up a bead in that section. Here. Okay, and we're going to skip this one here. Some of the videos did show them going through that and stepping up at this section. You can do that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So my best, after doing it for a while, is pick up your bead. If you're coming out of this one here, we're going to skip that one and we're going to go through this one. And the bead will sit on top. So you don't actually have to do a step up like that. Okay, so now we went through once. That's what I would consider once. And again, it's important to know that because the when we go to decrease, we want to be in their correct position. So now, again, we're going to go through, we're going to put beads in the low spots. Okay, so pick up another bead. You're coming out of this one here, we're going to go into this one here. Pick up one, go through here. So this is our second time around. Just keep in mind, believe it or not, I have lost count. How do you lose count on 4 times? Again, I say this, that's what happens when you do beading while you're watching TV. Do you know what? My wife will ask me a question in the middle of my count, and I'm like, that's it, I'm done. Okay, so now we're coming to the funky stuff here. I'm just going to turn it so you can see. Okay, so we're coming out of this bead here. I feel like that mat is too light, so you're not seeing the beads. Let me try it this way so you can see. So you're coming out of this one here. We're going to go into this one. Got my bead on there. So let's go through this one like that. And yeah, this looks like I need another bead there. Darn it. So maybe I should have added one on the other. Oh no, we're good. There's the bead there. So pick up one. That's what I mean. It's very confusing, this section. So this bead that we're going to add is going to sit on top of that one. So it doesn't look like it's much of a low spot, but it is. So we'll go through here. Now we're in position. That's 2 times around. Let's do our third. Go. Let's see if I can have my finger in the background so you can see the low and the high spots. Like that. Move some of these over. Like this. So we're expecting a big snowstorm this weekend. It's supposed to happen over a couple of days. And we went to swim this morning, and when we started heading home, as we got closer to our town, all the power was out. And when we got home, there was no power at all. But within 10 minutes, we were getting ready. So we didn't eat before we went to swim. So both of us are dieting. So we're like, my wife's like, I think we need to go to a restaurant for breakfast. We were just getting dressed when the power came on. I was so glad. I didn't want to go out for breakfast because when you're dieting, unless I want to cheat, I don't want to be off my diet. So Okay, so there is our third time around. So we'll go one more time around. So you can see it's starting to shape the heart. There. Like that. So I did these in a bunch of different colors, and I think this kind of chalk looking pink, like a opaque pale pink, is my favorite. Okay. And make sure that's, yeah, just one there, like that. Okay, I'm gonna put, this will be, I think this one will be my last one. I think at this point it doesn't matter, but so. Okay, so now we are going to reduce. So we have our 4 rows. I'm just looking here. Yep. So now we're going to decrease. So we're going to add 1 bead into the next slot, but instead of going through here, we're going to go through 2 of these sticking out beads. Okay. So that's, now here again, if you're watching, following along, it's not hard, like you're not going to lose track. But if you're doing this on your own, this is where I would get confused. So make sure you count the beads you added. So you should have 4 beads and come back to this section. So there's 1, skip 2, 1, go through here and go through the next one. So skip 2. So now we have 2 on there, and you can actually pull it. You see it kind of rounds a bit. This one's going to be number 3. So go through both of these, so you're skipping. That's number 3. Like that. And you can see it's really starting to shape. 1. We're going to go through this one and through this one. Like that. Okay. Pull that tight. Like that. So now in between, so the ones that you added are going to be your top beads. Let me see if that's visible here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's, so we're going to work off of those. So now we're going to attach those, but we're going to add a bead in between each. So we added that, like that. Just like that. Pick up another bead, and there's our other top bead. So we've got a bead on there, and that will close that corner off. Then pick up another and go to the next sticking out bead here, like this. And then pick up the last one. This was our sticking out bead, and this is where it becomes confusing. This is the one we added, the first one we added. So if you look, we need to go through this to join these 2 together, but we also want to pick up that bead because we're going to tighten those 4 that we just added. So you do like that and pull it nice and tight. Skip that bead. We're going to go through the ones we just added. And you'll see your needle will automatically want to go through the next one. You can if you want to, but for the sake of the video, I want to make sure you can see what I'm attempting to do. So you see it creates this little little plus sign. So I'll go through that again, and we will tighten. Now I'm going to go up and around, and then I'm going to take my thread around to these beads, and we're going to do the other side. So let's better hang on to that. So whichever, find whatever beads works for you. So let me go through this one. You can also tie it off at this point so that that stays tight, but I don't, like I've done so many of these now, it doesn't really need it, just as long as your thread is secure. So let's kind of go in the next kind of thread path so that you're not having a bunch of thread showing. Now I am going to skip from this one to this one and then go through here on an angle like that. And you know what? I'm going to go back and I'll tell you why, because we want to add this bead to this one here. So I could actually pick up and just start my round, but I want to close these right now. So let's go back out of this one. And I'm going to go out of the other one as well. I'm going to go over to this side and then come back down. So let's go one down. This part here is not a big deal. You do what you feel is working for you. Find your path through. Like there's no right or wrong on this. So just as long as when we get to this section here, we want to attach these two beads. And even like I've done them where I didn't attach them, I just waited till I went around for my peyote and attached them. So come out through here and then come to here like that. And now we're ready to start the other side. In the meantime, this is the time we are going to fill this. This part's fun too. Can you tell I like doing these? So like kind of pop it open a bit. And we are going to take some saran wrap. So I took a bunch of saran wrap. I had this on my bead mat. So I just pull it apart and then I kind of squish it together like this. And I don't squish it like all the way together because all I do is take a little end here and move my threads out of the way and kind of pop this open and just kind of poke the first piece in there. And then I take the ends of my scissors and I go in and stuff it like this so much it doesn't curl there. So just, packet it, excuse me, there. And you can pack it as much as you want. So I think that's good there. I'm just going to put a little bit more for this side because then we'll do the other side. Now make sure your threads are out of the way, and I just cut the little end off here. And I don't think we need that. And then just, get rid of this by stuffing it in there. There, like that. You can see how, isn't that amazing? It's so much fun. Okay, so, you know what this reminds me of? This piece here reminds me of knitting baby booties. So when I was in nursing school, like from the time I was 8, I think I learned to knit. We did it for Girl Guides, and I just was hooked. And so when I was in nursing school, I was in a town that had Mennonites, and there was a lot, so they do a lot of handmade crafts and clothing and stuff. So they had a lot of old patterns for baby clothes for knitting. And you could buy it at the thrift stores and stuff. So I used to get the most obscure patterns and make them and then donate them to the hospital for the preemies. So it was a lot of fun. Okay, so we're ready to go. We've attached those two beads, this section here, and we'll tighten it as we go, but you're basically adding into the little slots like peyote. So count, make sure this is our first time around on this side. So keep going like that. I'm thinking, like, now that I know how to kind of bring things together and create shapes, it might be nice to try some different shapes. I've seen they have like some people that do like the bigger beads and the colors, and they do little figurines and stuff like that. It's really cool. Okay, so this one is a little more, you have to make a decision at this point, because this would be our next down bead and this one our up bead. So we're kind of adding a bead where it's really not, but so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add our next down bead, but I'm going to go through this bead here. And when you go through it, it kind of puts it in that up position. So not a big, there, like that. Okay, there's our side here. So now let's pick up a bead and go through this next sticking up bead. So now you won't even see like that we added that bead, because now there's the peyote shape of the up and down. So now we're going into row 2, and we'll just do the same as we did on the last one. So don't forget, this is a longer video, and it was kind of intentional because a lot of them were really short videos, and as part of the 30-day challenge, and I'm used to doing longer videos. So as the design started getting more detailed, I wanted to make sure there was something a little longer and more kind of bead weaving. So pay attention to this section here. So this is the up bead, and then we're gonna add a bead and go through the next one here like that. You can get them a little tighter. So now we're going into row number 3. It's right here. So pick up one. Sorry, when it becomes a little more detailed, I tend to go out of frame at times. It's just because I'm concentrating. I have to set up a camera to videotape me doing a video. You guys are not going to believe what it involves. I'm sure some people are already. I don't know how you do it. So we are at the end of row 3. This will be the final row. This looks white. Let's skip that one. I mean, these are pretty pale pink. There. That's a crappy one. I'm taking that out. When I'm doing these on my own and not for the camera and you, I do kind of cull out beads like that. There we go. But when I'm not, I'm paying attention to my instruction rather than exactly what's in front of me. That's why sometimes, like, you'll see me do something and then you're like, Emma, you forgot, or it's because you're concentrating. I'm gonna move that off. I don't know what's wrong with that bead. I'm getting picky now. So this is row 4. Like this. And right there. So now we're going to put a little more saran wrap and then we'll decrease and close it up. So I'm going to squish it open there. Let's see what we have. I can use that. Something like that. And move the thread out of the way. Oops. So you can see how easy this goes in. It's pretty cool. I saw Pearls & Co. They're a bead shop in France and they have a shop in the UK. I order from the UK shop and it comes to Canada. I think the shipping's like $10 or something like that. And they have like stuff that sometimes you can't get elsewhere. And I'm just checking the thickness of this because the other one I really made it poofy, like it's hard. So just seeing if I need to do that. I don't think so. I think that's good. But they did one of these, and I think it was one of their old videos. They put a magnet inside it, and they had earring like studs, and the stud part of the earring was a magnet. So you put the earring in and this, and then you it sticks. I was like, what? I don't know if I'd feel comfortable with a magnet around my ears. I mean, it's probably fine health-wise, but okay, so we're going to close this up. So we're going to add one and we're going to go through 2. So we're skipping 1. And there's a knot in my thread. What? Pearl knit. Pearl knit. Jen's out there saying pearl knit. I think we should tell her to come on to the video.
Isn't how that works? Like, knit pearl.
It's funny that we were talking about knitting because I said that these look like the ends look like baby booties.
Mind your knitting.
Mind your knitting.
We'll go downstairs.
Okay, I'll be down in a sec.
You take your time. Whenever you're done talking to your peeps.
Okay, so this is my first decrease. This is the second one. So go through here and then go through the next one. Like that. Pick up one. Go through the next 2. That. So that's 2 decreased and we need 2 more. So this is our third. We'll go through here and through here. That. I'm just going to turn it so it's easier to get through. This is our last one here. So remember, this is the part that gets confusing. So if you're looking at your sticking out, here's the ones we added. There's this one, this one, this one, this one. So this next one, your tendency is to go through here, but you have to go through here and step up. And that's because we need to close this gap. And I'll tell you, right up until like one or two before this one, I couldn't figure it out. It just didn't make, I kept, part of it was the videos were kind of fast, so I'd slow them down. I'm thinking that I'm missing something, and that's what it was. So now I'm just pulling my thread and kind of squeezing things together. So now we're just going to pick up the ones we just added. So these sticking out beads, like that. And go through the next one. And if you're confused, just look, there's the sticking out bead. This one here, there's two there that we put together. So, okay, then go through the next sticking out and through the next one like this. Then, so you're gonna pull everything tight. And you can see sometimes it goes well together, other times it's a little finicky. I feel like I might have messed up here. Let's go back out from this to see here. And it could be because of the saran wrap is not letting me close it up properly. Okay. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. I skipped this one. Like I feel like this one is too close. Okay, let me just pull this tight here to get them in the spot that you need to be. That's a little better. Okay, so just go through here, through here, this one, this one. Okay, I'm going to take my scissors and push this down a bit, get it out of the way so it'll close properly. There we go. And go around them again. You can see they're not quite in the right position. You want that little cross there. I think it's the saran wrap is pushing beads out. Okay, so let's get in here. Okay. Now I'm gonna just weave my thread around. And I'm trying to mold my heart shape as well to match the other side. It looks a bit wonky. Okay, let's go around. I'm just weaving in so I can hide my thread. We're going to do that for the other one too. That's a little better. Okay, now we can cut this. Now for this section here, you can tighten it if you want, but it seems to be in, sometimes this bead will be kind of loose, but it looks like everything is nice and snug. So let's go ahead and we'll weave it through a few beads and we'll cut it off. And we're ready to hang it on an ear wire. Okay, so we're coming out of this side. I'm just going to go up. So this already, well, it doesn't, I was going to say it has a knot. It doesn't have a knot, but I don't think it's coming out, so I'm not too worried about it. So let's cut that. So there's, oh. Now what we're going to do is, I have one of these tools. It's like an awl. It's got a bit of a sharp end. I actually got this from BB Craft. There was like 4 of them for like $2. They're great to have for doing different stitches. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it through at the base here so that I can, I'm going to make sure I do it so I don't disturb my thread and beads. Maybe through here. Okay. But I'm going to go through my saran wrap and I want to come up to the middle of the bead, and I'm just making a hole, getting it ready for my head pin. You could put your head pin in and then put your saran wrap and just bead around it, but I did it for this the first one I made, and it was pretty easy. So let me just make sure I come out of the right hole. There, as you can see, it comes out, and you don't have to go all the way through. And then you're going to take and put your head pin through, and you see how easy it goes through. So then we'll just make sure that this is tucked in there. Just watch you don't grab onto your thread or beads there. In. Now I'm just gonna make sure these are where I want them. Okay. So now we're going to cut this because we don't need the whole thing. Think about there. A bit lower. Get your round nose pliers. Oh, you know what? I may have cut too much. We'll have to put another one on, I think. I forgot the crystal. So the loop will be, yeah, that'll be too small. So let's just pop that out. Make sure it's the same size. Get my tweezers here. I hadn't anticipated this. I was so excited. There we go. Let's grab another one of those. See if we can find the same hole so I don't. I'm squeezing. I think the smart thing would be to do it while it's still, while it's still open, because now it looks like it's pushing the saran wrap, so you're losing that. Yeah, it's just compressing it. Let me see if I can get this in here. There we go. And slide that in. I'm surprised these are really like hard, but look, my fingers bent that. Okay, that should go in. There we go. Let me try and straighten that out. Of course, now it won't bend. So let's put the crystal on first, Emma. And again with there. Okay, so maybe to about there. And we're gonna do the loop on the side. Actually, it doesn't really matter because it can turn. This is really hard to turn. That's way too long. I'm keeping it a small loop because it's you can see it a bit with the ear wire. So let me see if I can turn this and fluff this guy back out. There. Let's open this one. I'm going to close that one a little more. See if I can get that to sit on the top. There. And close that a bit. There we go. Okay, we'll close that. There. This one didn't turn out so well. It's maybe just like this one's nice and smushy. I think I tightened it too much and it made it kind of look a bit weird. There's the lovely earrings. This is day 30. Ta-da! I'll be redoing this. I apologize for that. That's definitely like I was too tight with that. So there we go. Take care, everybody. Thanks for joining me for this 30-day challenge. This was so much fun. It totally made January go by very quickly. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. So take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Don't forget, squirrely, Squirrely Shirley with the rainbow giveaway bead. Take care, everybody. Bye.